I call the August 24th, 2026 Mexico City Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Miller.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Fink.
Yes.
Haig.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
First, I'm going to make a motion to amend the agenda to include item 9C, adjournment into executive session pursuant to section 610.021, purpose of legal advice.
Second.
Miller.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Fink.
Yes.
Haig.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
All right, next item, approval of minutes.
Move we approve. Second.
Miller.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Fink.
Yes.
Haig.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Presentation, the compensation and benefits study. Mr. Slade.
Yes, Your Honor. As council knows, we've had trouble maintaining staffing levels and continue to have levels far below authorized levels in the past couple of years. And therefore, to an attempt to remain competitive, council did approve and entered into an agreement with McGrath Human Resource Group for professional services to conduct a comprehensive compensation study. And this evening, we have Melanie with McGrath to present their findings. So we'll turn it over to Melanie.
Thank you. Good evening. Again, my name is Melanie Henry, and I am a consultant with McGrath. I want to give a little bit of background about our firm. Our CEO, Dr. Victoria McGrath, was actually here 18 years ago and did a study for the city. So we have a little bit of history with you all. I know there's been a study in between now and then, but she is phasing into retirement, so pass the baton off to myself. And a little bit, I'm from the area. I'm from Missouri, so I'm familiar with the region and the challenges that may occur with being positioned in the area. So I'm happy to be here and excited to share with you our findings. Going to walk through the study. I know you all have a report, so we'll just get started. If I can write it the right way. There we go. So the study objectives is one, as Bruce alleged, we need to make sure that your wages are market competitive. So that was number one objective. We reviewed your positions and looked at that internal equity among them and took the internal information that we gathered based on what you're doing currently, your current policies, your positions, what they are performing, and integrated that with the external market data, and eventually came up with a customized classification and compensation system for the city. We have recommendations on how to keep it up to date, current, moving forward, and we also looked at your benefits as well to see if there are any opportunities there for the city. I'm going to remember how to do this here. So a little bit about our methodology and the steps that we took place. The study started with interviews with administration and department leaders. This is an important part of the process so we can understand what's going on now, where are you at, what are some challenges that you may be experiencing, and what's working. We looked at your system, your demographics, current policies, and job descriptions. Along with job descriptions, they don't always tell the full story of what a position is doing and their responsibilities. So in all of our studies, we lovingly ask employees to complete a position questionnaire. It's not a simple project, a simple questionnaire to complete. It takes time, and we very much appreciate their time in providing that information to us. We look at everything that they complete, their supervisors review it for accuracy, and we analyze all of that information. So it is time-consuming, but a very important part of the process. We go out to the market. We're wanting to see what the market is comparing with you all. So we go to other public organizations and we collect 4 specific data points. We're comparing your salary range to the market salary range. So we're looking at their minimums, their midpoint, their maximum, and what they're currently paying their employees in those positions. We also gathered benefit information as that was part of the study. And then upon completion of that information and analysis, we provided a draft compensation schedule. We then met again with administration and then with department leaders before finalizing it so we could gather their feedback as well. I'm not going to remove it. So, an important part of that process is determining who are your comparable organizations. This was something that we asked each of the department leaders because in each of the departments, they may have something different going on for the positions that they are trying to retain. So, these are your neighbors. I will point out, Columbia and Jefferson City was included in this study. They are major impact to the region, being the largest municipalities in the area, and people do travel to find work if they think they can be paid higher somewhere else within driving region. We did solicit a few that were looking for just specific type positions, like some of the public schools in MoDOT. And there were two on this list that DNR means did not respond. Sometimes we do not get 100% participation and response. And we felt that, given the information we did have, that did not negatively impact the market information. So we go out to those comparables, we ask for those 4 data points I mentioned, and we need to then compare that to the city's same data points. So in order to do that, we have a calculation called a comp ratio. And what we're looking for is the average market rate is 50%. So 50% comp ratio. If you're paying $20 for a position and the market is also paying $20 for a position, then that's going to calculate to 50%. That's our goal, is that we're meeting that average rate. We consider 45% to 60% to be within that average market rate. So that is our goal, to make sure that we are in that realm of the calculation. I'm going to share a few graphs that demonstrate where your pay ranges are in comparison using that comp ratio for comparison. So this is your minimum. So your current minimum salaries on your pay scales compared to the minimums of similar positions in the market. And you can see that 70% of your minimums are considered under market. So just as Bruce alleged, you all have been having some issues. This explains that might be part of the problem, is that the minimums are not competitive compared to the market. You do have 17% that are aligned, and that 13% may be at risk. Depending on the position, it may be aligned, but it may also be at risk. So we kind of highlight that. Then on the maximum end of your pay range, we analyze that as well, and it's falling even further behind. So if your minimums are behind, your maximums would naturally be behind as well, but they're just even a touch more behind. So that's to show us that the pay ranges themselves need to be adjusted. They're lagging, and we need to see what we can do to make an adjustment there. This next slide is looking at what your city employees are earning compared to the peer in their market. And this is very different because we have long-term employees here. They're probably on those blue lines closer to in-market, I would hope. We still have some in what we call under-market in those orange bands. And this is telling because we have to look at your demographics, as I'm saying. How long-term employees do you have, short-term? But we don't know what the market is, what we're comparing apples and apples here. We didn't collect that information from the market, how long their employees have been in those positions. Frankly, we just would not get that information if we asked for it. But we are going to look at your demographics to see what is the makeup of your employees, because that's important as we're making decisions and changes to how we are adjusting your current ranges. So first, we're just looking at the average years of service, and then we have it divided out by age group just to get an idea. And naturally, as people are older, they are going to be here longer, and that is what we want to see. Overall, the average tenure is 6.8 years, and the national average is about 6.5. So you're right in line with what the national average is for local government tenure. But then the next, we're looking at what percentage of the workforce is in these age groups. Generations is an important factor. You have all generations in your workforce. So you have to try to understand what each generation is looking for, and we know they're not looking for the same thing. We have older employees who are looking for retirement, younger employees who are looking for a top salary. So we have to balance that and see how we can manage that. You have about a little over a third of your workforce is going to be retiring. Those are expected retirements are expected turnover that's going to be coming. So we want to prepare and be able to fill in behind them, increase their skill set, train them up, keep employees here so we can prepare for those exiting in the next decade. But then on the other hand, we have about 44% that are under the age of 40, and this group is more likely to leave if they find a better opportunity somewhere else. So we have to balance, as I said, what's going on here with the workforce. One last graph here is we're going to look at percentage of employees by years of service. And just a quick, you've got about 50% of your employees have been here 3 years or less. That's quite a large number, and I'm sure you all have felt that as well. So that's something to be concerned. We want to make sure that we're not in this constant turnover in some positions and see if we can get some of these employees to stay with the city so we can grow them and continue that for those expected retirements. This turnover there is a cost to turnover, and just want to explain all of the elements that we look at. We're looking at any payout costs for vacation if they have that, recruitment costs, the replacement of that employee with the new compensation, new benefits, and then training. So that can be about 1.5 times the original employee's salary and benefits, and for public safety, 2 times. So there is a cost to that, and we want to avoid that and keep employees here longer, recruit them and retain them as we look through their salary schedule. So now that we know how the city is comparing to the market, we need to determine how are we going to align to the market. What is our compensation philosophy? There really are 3 options when we look at this part of the process. One is you can lead the market. You can be a top payer in the market compared to your peers. Sometimes, depending on the area and what's going on with your efforts, this is something that employers are looking to do. We can meet the market, meet that average market. That is what most organizations strive to do, is to at least meet that average market. And then a third option is to follow the market. This sometimes happens when there may not be the financial resources available to meet the average market, so they may follow for a few years, and then with striving to meet that average market. When we discussed this with administration, we decided based on budget, financial resources, we were going to maintain at meeting the average market for the philosophy for this study and moving forward. So I want to briefly review the salary structure, and I'm going to start with what you currently have. You currently have 3 salary schedules. You have 2 step schedules for your hourly employees. One is focused on public safety and one is general. And then you have a 3rd schedule that's a range for your salaried employees. So you have a mix going on of step schedules and a range schedule. We have kind of generalized, your step schedule has 11 steps. The step adjustments between steps vary, and that has just changed over time. And between pay grades, going down is about 6%, and the spread from that first step to last step is about 32%. And then your range, you can see there, we're some expected grade separation, but the spread from minimum to maximum varies depending on the pay grade. as you can see, from 37 to 61. The recommended salary system, we are recommending you maintain those 3 schedules divided in the same manner as far as the positions on each one. But we're recommending a slight change to the step schedule to be a step range schedule. So this is combining steps and range into one. What we're asking is the first 6 steps would be steps, 2.5% for each step. Then it would stop, and it's an open range to a maximum. What this does, it allows the city to have flexibility financially. When you have steps, you have financial requirements for those steps. If we have a range, depending on the year and how you are currently adjust salaries for the exempt schedule, that's a current range, you can apply that as well. So let me explain it again. If you have the step schedule, those employees will go through those steps till they reach that 6th step. Then if they, after that 6th step, say the city says we're going to give a 2% raise this year, then that's what they would get. There's no step there. It's open until they get to the max. So that's to allow flexibility. We heard that there were maybe some challenges that a step schedule limits you in what you can do when you may need to make some decisions like that. We increased some of the grade separation. We had some positions that were a little too close to one another, so we gave some more separation there. And the spread on all schedules is the same at 34%. That allows for more equality and uniformity to the schedule in general. I want to comment, since I'm talking about the structure, we do have a correction on the hourly step range schedule. There were, at the bottom, stipends that were mentioned, and the CDL trainer, it was per pay period, and it should be per month. So I want to make that comment now that that needs to be corrected. Apologize about that. When we are placing positions on the structure, now that we have it established, there are a number of factors that we look at. It's not just market. We look at 4 different factors. And the other important thing is we are not looking at the people, we're looking at the position. So these are the 4 factors. We do look at that market. That is all of these are important pieces. We look at that position analysis, those position questionnaires that we analyzed. We're looking at internal comparability between positions and compression. We want to make sure positions that are supervising one another or in public safety, our ranks are not too close to one another so that we have compression issues. Now that we've made the adjustments to the schedule to make it meet the average market, we recommend how to manage it going forward. We recommend an annual adjustment using an economic indicator. If that's CPIU is typically used, whatever it is that you're using, we want you to be consistent and not change that from year to year. So the schedule will change based on that economic indicator, and then employees need to then progress through their ranges, and that is based on their performance, whether that be a step or a percentage increase, depending on where they're at in their current range. And we are recommending, as the market is a little odd at times, as we've been experiencing in the last 6 years. It's still, I don't want to say it's volatile, but it still can be challenging. We recommend a market update. What that is, as far as if that's something that you invited us back to, it's similar to this process, but not quite as involved. We would go out to the market, collect that information, and do that analysis. But we wouldn't have to do the position questionnaire piece with the employees unless there's new positions that have been added since the study was done. We also have some metrics that we recommended in the report that administration can keep track of. We also looked at your benefits, so wanted to give you a high-level overview of what we found, your health insurance, we look at the health insurance from the perspective of an employee, an applicant, if you will, trying to decide if this is a great plan for them. You all have a very highly competitive plan compared to the market. We look at your premiums, we look at the deductible, if an employee has to spend the entire deductible, and the out-of-pocket maximum for a critical event. And your premiums were above average for when we look at both single and family. Your deductible and out-of-pocket maximum is your health savings account contribution is really what sets you apart from the market. So I commend you for providing that to your employees, and that really helped make your plan one of the top in the area. We look at the time off benefits. Holidays, you are right in line with the average with 12 holidays. Your vacation plan, we look at the accruals, your minimum accrual, your maximum accrual. You're doing well with the minimum accrual. You're 1 day ahead of the average. The maximum's lagging a little bit, so there's an opportunity to maybe add another level, as some others are doing a span of 10 to 25 years, not recommending go up to 25, but yours stops at 12, so maybe add another level there to add a day. And then your sick leave is comparable as far as the accruals. 1 day a month is standard. And then that maximum balance, it's quite a wide range that the market is providing, but the lowest that we saw was 480 hours as the maximum, and I think that's something the city is looking at. We always, when we look at vacation and sick leave, mention PTO. It is something that a lot of organizations are going towards, and it's just simply, not simply, but it is combining vacation and sick together, not number for number, but it is easier for employees to understand and easier to administer. Younger employees don't understand the difference between vacation and sick, and those are our newer employees in the workforce. So just something to consider as you look at other ways to make improvements. Not sure that that's something to take on this year, but something to think about as you are looking at changes. And then retirement. Loggers, you all are participate in loggers. Just had a summary, of what your plan is. You are at the 2% multiplier. You're a Rule of 80 employer, and you do not require employee contribution. In the market, there are some employers that are requiring that 4% employee contribution. And as far as the multipliers, you are on the higher end of what others are offering. So your plan is very competitive with others as far as loggers goes. There is a voluntary 457 deferred comp plan. You all participate, your employees can participate in that. You are not matching, but we have found that others are starting to provide a match on that, about 2 to 3%. So that's something the city may want to keep an eye on if more and more are doing that, just to be aware of that as an option for you all. I believe that's it. So I'd be happy to take any questions from anyone.
So on the, I guess the turnover kind of stood out a little bit to me. Which department kind of had more? Did you segment that at all?
I did not. I combined all into our statistics, so I don't have that information. I apologize.
Okay.
I imagine it would be public safety, just based on what I heard, but I did not look at that specifically.
It varies across all departments. Certainly, we have more number in public safety. As you look at percents, sometimes that gets
It's skewing the whole.
because, just in the last couple of weeks, just in even the street department, when you have 8 people, 4 of them openings, that's a 50%. But that 4 number doesn't compare to the 7 number in public safety.
Yeah.
So we're experiencing across the board.
probably in the age, it changes skews the age averages a little bit. And then
Yeah, it can.
like street department's probably a little younger too.
Yeah, we've hired clearly younger people lately, but we don't get much tenure, it doesn't seem like.
Right.
So is it, I'm just trying to summarize my understanding of where we are in the different categories. So if you were to break it down into healthcare, direct pay, retirement and time off, as I've summarized, it would be that we're above average in healthcare, below average in pay, average in retirement, and average in time off. Would that be
I
accurate?
would overall, yes, I think that would be a good, summary.
And if our aim is to, increase retention and recruitment, would you pull the levers down on healthcare and, up on pay, or would you kind of keep it just like increase pay?
We try to keep base pay and benefits separate because not everyone is going to use your benefits.
Right.
But everyone is going to receive that base compensation. So, and especially with the younger workforce who we're trying to attract and retain, if we can get them in the door with a salary and retain them and keep them here, let them see how they're going to increase in their pay over time, then as they get older and say, oh, I do need that health insurance, or retirement, that's an interesting concept, then we can introduce and share with them, we do have these other benefits, and this is what we can do for you. That's the education piece. Once they get in the door, is that benefits, is that education. It's hard to educate them before they come into employment to explain that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we could shift it in the beginning and then let them,
Yeah.
change. Because
Yeah.
they are not after benefits.
No, they are
Except
not.
for the, sick leave, paid time off, and,
Yes, they do like their time off.
Yeah.
And they will use it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything else?
Okay.
Think time.
Thank you so
very
much.
thank you.
Next up's a public hearing. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
I move we open the public hearing to establish the 2026 property tax rate.
Second?
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Mr. Slagle?
Sure. As council knows, we are required by state law to conduct a public hearing to establish the current year's property tax rates. State Auditor's Office calculates the allowable property tax rates based on keeping what we call revenue neutral, exclusive of new construction. And we must establish these tax rates by September 1 of each year. Now, how do we calculate? How do we get there? How does it all come together? We're going to let Vicki Dinky, our finance director, go through the process.
So we talked about this a little bit at our budget hearing a couple weeks ago, so none of these numbers have changed since that time, but it is our requirement to review all of this as part of a public hearing. So as you'll see, the 2026 assessed value for the year has been set at $185,475,275. That is broke out into the categories shown there: real estate, personal property, railroad, and utility, to come to that total. And then we look at the way that the actual rate per fund is set. So those amounts are determined by a calculation by the State Auditor's Office that provides that to us to help us remain revenue neutral, exclusive of new construction. So those rates are provided to us. Of course, two of those funds are at their maximum, so you will not see an adjustment to either the Parks and Recreation Fund or Public Health, which Public Health Fund, of course, supports our animal shelter and our demolition and nuisance abatement activities in the city. So the general fund's the only one that will be able to see a slight adjustment for the coming year that's allowed. So it will go from the 45 46.91 to the 46.79 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. So then, of course, there's also a calculation that kind of goes into the way that the calculation comes about and how it can all be, they walked you through step by step, the way the state auditor's office prepares that. Of course, that there was an increase in one of the categories for assessed valuation, so there is a slight increase, about $25,000 worth of tax represents the increase for new construction and improvements in the city. And because there was a decrease, a significant decrease there in the personal property valuation category, there was no increase in revenue as a result of reassessment.
Vicki, do you know why there was such a drop in the personal property?
Well, we believe there was maybe, there were some corrections made from the prior year. We know that the solar farm had been included last year, and then it was, they kind of caught up and realized that the tax abatement, Chapter 100 existed for them, so that was removed. That was a reduction. There was also a correction for a duplicate reporting with Creative Foods for some of their equipment. Both they reported and their leasing company reported. And then those would be the two big ones. There was a slight decrease of valuation for some equipment at Spartan that also contributed, but it was small, but it did contribute slightly. And then, but we were hopeful to have seen an increase, kind of some of those adjustments, those corrections to be offset with Western Smokehouse, and we're still working on getting their assessments included in the amounts to be reported and collected on. So we're working closely with the assessor's office and making some calls to them to make sure we get them off on the right foot. So. The proposed levy then sets, this would be the proposed revenue that would be generated based on the new tax rate for the assessed valuations that we were provided. So that the proposed revenue for the general fund would be $867,839. Parks and Rec is the $185,475, and Public Health is $370,951 to that total overall assessed or proposed revenue across all three of those funds at the $1,424,265. And then this is just a chart that shows you the trend of tax rates over time. Of course, you'll see the general fund is the one that has a little bit of space in it, so it's seen a slight increase as it's been allowed. And then the Parks Fund and the Public Health Fund has seen some fluctuation, but we're at that maximum and have been there now for what will be 4 years for those funds. Do you have any questions?
We just take it to 80 cents, we could meet some of our compensation study. Just bump it
So
up.
essentially, the difference between this year, or this, for 27, the coming year, and last year is less than a penny? Is that
Yes,
what you're saying?
less than a penny.
No questions?
I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Miller.
Yes.
Briggs.
This is what it
Fink.
was supposed to be.
Yes.
Hague.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
All right, new business. Ordinances. Bill number 2026-47, an ordinance levying taxes on all property for the fiscal year. Mr. Slagle, I guess we just heard it.
Yeah, we just held a public hearing, Your Honor. This ordinance does establish the property tax rates, which takes into consideration revenue neutral. Unless you have any questions, we'd recommend you proceed with 2 readings by title only and passage of the attached ordinance, and it has been posted its required length of time.
I move for reading of bill number 2026-47.
Second.
Miller.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Fink.
Yes.
Hague.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Bill number 2026-37, an ordinance levying taxes on all property for the fiscal year October 1, 2026 to September 30, 2027 for the city of Mexico, Missouri. I move for the second reading.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Bill number 2026-47, an ordinance levying taxes on all property for the fiscal year October 1, 2026 to September 30, 2027 for the city of Mexico, Missouri. I move for passage of Bill 2026-47.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Bill number 2026-48, an ordinance of the City of Mexico, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. In accordance with provisions of Senate Bill 262, each political subdivision with an annual operating budget in excess of $1 million must file personal financial interest statements or devise a code of ethics. This ordinance establishes the procedure which discloses, and by disclosures for certain public officials. As a part of this ordinance, each elected official, therefore mayor, city council, and the city manager and the chief purchasing officer must comply with this ordinance. This is a required document to be passed by state law, and we recommend council proceed with 2 readings by title only and passage of the attached ordinance, and it's also been posted its required length of time.
Curious what it costs us to set it up, the paperwork.
The paperwork.
Yeah, how many man hours and, you know, at the bottom of the ballot, they always say what impact, financial impact will this have, but.
I move for reading of Bill 2026-48.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Bill number 2026-48, an ordinance of the City of Mexico, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain municipal offices. I move for the second reading.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs, Fink,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Bill number 2026-48, an ordinance of the City of Mexico, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain municipal offices. I move for passage of Bill 2026-48.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
All right, resolutions. Bill number 2026-49, a resolution adopting a position classification and pay range schedule. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. As we mentioned earlier, we do have trouble maintaining our current employment levels due to marketing, and we did the study that was presented earlier this evening with McGrath Human Resource Group. We believe this will help correct some of our issues, and as noted, it does create the new position classification and pay schedules under the 3 categories as defined. We will be glad to try to answer any more questions you may have. Otherwise, we would recommend council proceed with reading by title only and passage of the attached resolution adopting the new position classification and pay schedule for the City of Mexico.
I do like the PTO idea. We just went to that. We used to have like 18 subcategories of leaving work, and it just went to PTO. And I think it just makes it easier. I mean,
Easier to understand.
if you have sick time, people are just gonna, sad to say, they'll just lie about it. So you might as well just give them PTO, paid time off at those hours, and just make it easier for everybody with that. So, also I don't know how long ago, it was 3 years ago, so we added a holiday, and I didn't know if there was any other holidays that we needed to look at to make that any better.
Yeah, at this point, I think we're competitive, so we haven't. At the budget meeting, there will be some things we'll be talking to you about. We've also included these new schedules in the budget, and there will be a couple of benefit changes we'll be commenting to you at the next meeting, which will be included in the budget overall.
Okay.
My birthday would be a good holiday.
That would be good. I take it already.
I have a question on the Section 3 on the resolution. City manager is directed to implement the position classification, pay range schedule. This is a binding to do the minimums that are recommended?
Correct. This will set those schedules.
This
These are
is
the
binding?
schedules. Yeah. These will
Okay.
be the schedules that we select and accept.
The other, at the end, it says consistent with city budget, so even if the city budget were restraining us from doing some increases in the future, we'd still be bound by this resolution.
No. It
Okay.
gives us that ability to be flexible to.
Okay, just wanted to clear that up. Thank you.
I move for reading of bill number 2026-49.
Second?
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Bill number 2026-49, resolution adopting a position, classification, and pay range schedule for the city of Mexico, Missouri. I move for passage of bill number 2026-49.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Bill number 2026-50, a resolution authorizing city manager to execute agreements with various organizations for recommended funding of the Mexico tourism tax. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, the Tourism Commission has met. They've reviewed applications. They have recommended funding for a couple of upcoming events, and to cover those events and the amounts, we'll turn to Vicki Nick.
So again, we bring to you our monthly tourism meeting. We had 2 applications, as Bruce mentioned, that that the Tourism Commission entertained. We had another event being scheduled by Paul and Teresa Ridgway at their Summit Event Center with an Ultimate 80s concert to be held Friday, October 9th. They did request funding for $2,000, and the Tourism Commission recommended $1,000. The other event is the Central Missouri Veterans Monument Foundation, and they are getting close to having their monument completed, and they are gearing up for a dedication event on Wednesday, November 11th, on Veterans Day. So they plan to do some wider spread advertising to draw people in for that event. They asked for $2,100. The commission recommended $1,500. So staff recommends the council concur with the commission's recommendation and proceed with reading by title only and passage of the attached resolution.
Move for reading of bill number 2026-50.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes. Bill number 2026-50, a resolution authorizing city manager to execute agreements with various organizations for recommended funding from the Mexico tourism tax. Move for passage.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs, Fink,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Staff report, authorizing repairs to the wastewater collection system along Kent. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, we have found several defects in the line due to various reasons, from settling and aging and everything. To cover the details and the proposed plan to fix, Drew Milford.
Oh, good evening, council. As Bruce mentioned, we've got a line that, the staff report actually consists of 2 different items. We've combined it to look at replacement of a main that is the city's responsibility, but also addressing a little bit of an issue that has come about over the years at the corner of Kent and Curtis Street, which does affect a private property. And some of that relates to wet weather events. Some of that relates to the location and proximity to other locations such as Pin Oaks, and having some grease and wipes, other non-flushables being flushed down the main and then causing a backup, which impacts this particular location and the residents there at 809 Kent Street. And so what staff has done, we've reviewed the area, we've confirmed hydraulics through the area, elevations through the area, and we've approached Plan B, our on-call contractor, with a request to get us an estimate for, in essence, taking care of multiple things all in one project. And we've broken up that estimate based on a sag in the main that actually is present, which does contribute to the idea of some grease and wipes and things backing up over time. That estimate, we came back at $6,120, and that includes about 40 linear feet of 8-inch ductile iron pipe. The sewer main is extremely shallow, so we've got to have a rigid pipe there as people drive across it in driveways and across lawns. The second project we would name the Kent Road Main Replacement, and that's coming in at $13,270. That includes installation of about 85 linear feet of standard 8-inch sewer pipe, but also includes backflow preventer and changing the configuration of the main in that area and at the corner there, as I mentioned, of Kent and Curtis, to try to promote better flow with the change from clay pipe to PVC. We also see a great decrease in friction, and so we believe all of this is actually going to significantly help the area and alleviate some of the problems that the resident has had in the past. And so it'll be a help to them, a help to just the general area. We'd recommend proceeding. Total project cost for all of this, which will come out of the wastewater fund, would be $19,390. Most of that will be coming out of the project reserve fund. I'm estimating that we will still have, after this project, about $50,000 remaining in that fund after this is complete. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I move to approve the repairs to the wastewater collection system along Kent Road for the cost of $19,390 to Plan B development.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Fink, Haig,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Claims.
Move to pay the claims.
Second.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Haig,
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Council comments. Dr. Fink.
Well, between this meeting and the last meeting, one of my fire alarms went off erroneously, but I did not know that. And we were at the pool, and when I went to go, get my kids in the truck, I realized I had like 20 calls from public safety and my neighbor. And I just want to say thank you for the professionalism of the public safety officers. And they went through with this like thermal gun and like looked at all the outlets, made sure my house wasn't secretly burning down. And anyway, I still have a house and my pets. And I really appreciate how wonderful they were. And they wouldn't let me say sorry. I kept saying sorry, and they're like, "Why are you sorry? Don't say sorry." It's fine. I was still sorry. So, thank you.
That wasn't the first time they've used a thermal gun, has it?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a new toy they got out. We got to see.
Catch it before it starts burning. This less work for us.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Mr. Ray.
Great time at Soybean Festival. Great time had by all. It was well attended too. Lots of folks there and lots of support from the community. JC's obviously did a lot of work and real proud of them. It's an organization that's been around for a long time in Mexico and keeps thriving, and I hope they can continue to do it for many, many more years. So it really draws the outside folks in right here into town. So thank you to the JCs.
Mr. Miller.
One thing I have to say is about what he said. There sure was a lot of people uptown, sure was a lot of streets blocked, and I hope they had a good time.
Did you sell a lot of antiques?
No, you can't get there
Oh,
unless
okay.
you walk.
You need to buy a booth out there on the square and move some stuff
No,
out
you
there.
need to take down some barricades.
Miss Briggs.
Well, I'm glad to see the town up and busy and having fun and doing things, and the weather's been fantastic. Thank you for giving us the date on the dedication for the memorial. My husband's a veteran, and I know he'll want to attend that. So anyway, that's all I have to say right now.
Mr. Slagle.
Nothing at this time here.
I mentioned it, if you haven't been out and seen all the work they've done at the Veterans Memorial, it's going to be nice and looks really neat when you pop over the hill there and see that, and so I can't wait till that's done. Of course, the Soybean Festival, yes, just packed, and it's great to have that. School starting, of course, tomorrow, and all the new pavement around the high school and everything like that, it's awful nice, and so that'll be nice to have this year, and glad for the workers that got that done. And so just be cautious. Buses will be running, doing all that stuff. Kids will be walking. Make sure make sure you see them. So Public comments. If someone would like to come to make a comment, you can come to the podium, state your name and your address, and you will have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Whitty. I'm at 514 Woodlawn. And I just wanted to, I have a request. Ameren is having a meeting this Wednesday in Moscow Mills, Missouri about some new power stations they're installing. One's planned for just west of Vandalia. It's an hour and a half from here, so I just wanted to see if one of you, if you're available, might be able to go and represent the citizens of Mexico for Audrain County and make sure that it's not a data center or the power is going to be used for data centers or anything like that. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I do know a little bit about that. And it is, for your knowledge, it is a battery field that Ameren's proposing on their property. And it's for storing power. And for the most part, I understand it's for storing some of the solar power. And because obviously there's peaks and valleys when it comes to solar. So in order to be able to store that power when there's more power being generated and then pull from it when they need to. But that's the plans that they have to, so it's a battery storage facility that they're proposing on their property by is what it is.
That's my understanding as well. Battery.
Because the county was talking about it has to go back online, so, but there was so much going online, they're going to try to store some of it, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good. Not seeing anybody? You good?
We adjourn into executive session
Second?
pursuant to section 610-021 for the purpose of legal advice.
Still second?
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs. Yes. Fink.
Yes.
Haig.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.